Hey, what's going on, guys? Y'all wanted some Coromon? Well, here we go. We got some Coromon. Today we're going to be discussing Coromon's version of the IV/EV system that you may be familiar with in games like Pokemon and Temtem. I'm going to be using Pokemon as a comparison when talking about these values, as I feel that most people would have some level of knowledge about these regardless of competitive prowess per se. So just keep that in mind. It's good to have a starting point when talking about these systems and how Coromon sort of deploys its own and how these systems are actually superior in my opinion. So for starters, what even are IVs and EVs? In Pokemon, IVs are a hidden individual value that ranges from 0 to 31, which affect the overall stats of a Pokemon. Each stat has an individual value, or IV, associated with it. These IVs are completely unchangeable and will determine the overall potential of a Pokemon. Each IV is equal to 1 stat point at level 100. On a side note, I know that Pokemon has bottle caps that artificially increase the IVs of a particular stat, but the IVs themselves remain the same for breeding and hidden power purposes. I mean, Gen 8 doesn't have hidden power, but you guys know what I mean. So anyway, your Pokemon could have, let's say, 10 IVs in attack, 20 in defense, 24 in special attack, etc. There are ways to manipulate the IVs through breeding, but upon a wild encounter, you're basically playing the lotto. With each stat, you have a 1 in 32 chance, and that goes 6 times because Pokemon can have stats with 0 IVs as well. EVs, on the other hand, are earned by defeating Pokemon, hence the name EV, or effort value. These also correspond with your stats, and each Pokemon you defeat will give you a different amount of EVs in a specific stat based off of that specific Pokemon. For example, defeating a Fletchling would give you 1 EV in speed. Each stat can hold up to 255 EVs, and you can have a total of 510. Now, sorry that sort of turned into a Pokemon overview for a sec, but I think it's important to give proper context when making these comparisons. So Coromon takes a different approach, and their value system is actually tied into how their shiny equivalent is encountered. Check out my video talking about the shiny system for more information on that, but basically, instead of overcomplicating things with having an individual value for every stat, Coromon simplifies it by having one single value. This is called your potential value and replaces Pokemon's individual values. So this one value determines your Coromon's overall potential, and it's not tied to any particular stat and will affect how frequently your Coromon will awaken its potential, but we'll get into that in just a second. So the potential value of your Coromon can range from 1 to 21, and any Coromon with a value of 17, 18, 19, or 20 will have a different color palette and be referred to as a potent to show that it has greater potential. If it has 21, it'll have a separate color palette, so a third one, and be referred to as a perfect. The 1 to 21 is a weighted calculation, so it's not like there's a 1 in 21 chance of finding a perfect. The chances for potent and perfect are as follows. You have a 1 in 35 chance for a potent and a 1 in 3,194 chance for a perfect. Now, on a side note, there are potent scents which raise the odds, as well as the potent flater, which raises the Coromon's potential value by a minimum of 1. These are very useful items. Now, with Coromon's sort of EV equivalent, we have these potential points, which will raise your stats upon the meter located under your EXP bar reaching full. Instead of each Coromon you kill basically giving you a specific set of EVs like they do in Pokemon, you'll basically just be able to choose which of these values you can sort of boost when you reach the appropriate time. One thing is that if you play, let's say, through Sword and Shield, especially with the EXP share being sort of stuck, you're going to end up naturally with a team that has the exact same EV spread or close to it, which kind of defeats the whole customization aspect to those EVs, whereas in Coromon, you get to choose as you go. Another noteworthy piece of information is that higher level Coromon will have certain potential points already generated for the lower levels, and though I'm not a huge fan of this myself, as it sort of creates situations where Coromon that are only available during the late game are always going to have random stats, Marcel, aka one of the devs, stated that they're looking into a way of perhaps letting you reset the stats once, so that'll sort of fix that issue for sure. So bringing this back to the whole how Pokemon does it versus Coromon does it, I do think this is an improvement to a system that honestly feels a little outdated at this point. For example, each stat getting 255 points but only being able to utilize 252 due to 4 EVs equaling 1 stat at max level is because the hex values in the original games that started the IV systems, which are Gen 3, remember Gen 1 and 2 had DVs, which were different, these values have a max of FF, which is hexadecimal equivalent to 255. A lot of Pokemon systems actually still rely on these outdated mechanics. I'm not trying to say, Pokemon bad, but this is reality. Perhaps the system is fine and doesn't need any change, but I do personally think that Coromon does it better. I am curious to know what you guys think about it though. Do you prefer Pokemon's traditional way of doing things with IVs and EVs, or do you prefer Coromon's potential value system? Make sure to let me know in the comments below, and if you did enjoy the video, make sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, GymLeaderEd. Check out our subscriber Discord, all links in the description. Till next time, peace.